What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Master HS. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 easiest AP classes to take. So if you're an underclassman or even an 8th grader or anyone in middle school looking to just take the easiest possible AP classes to just maintain that sky-high GPA, still maintaining the good grade and just having less work overall than some of the other harder AP classes, this is the video for you. Obviously, keep in mind, this is coming from someone who has taken over 10 AP classes and scored majority 5s on all of those classes as an underclassman. Alright, so starting off this list at the number 5 spot, the number 5 easiest AP class to take that are majorly taken by underclassmen is going to be AP Human Geography, or HGAP, or AP Calc, whatever you want to call it. Now, the reason this class is so easy is that it's simply based on vocab. Now, this is going to be a common trend that you're going to see amongst a lot of those easier classes, that they're not so much STEM heavy, and they're also not so much application based. You really just got to know the vocab and then you're pretty much set. You don't really have to apply that knowledge as much. Now, with AP Human, you can probably learn honestly 50-60% of the unit just by studying a quiz, which is, for an AP class, pretty insane because this is supposed to be a college level rigorous class, obviously. Now, typically this class is offered as a freshman, at least it was at my high school, and I know at a lot of other schools across the nation it is, and it's the intro class for AP classes typically. So what that means is that teachers are a little bit, typically a little bit more lenient about the way they assign you work because they know that you guys are freshmen and that this is typically the first course you're going to take in your AP career. And so they might kind of ease you into it during the first few months, and so overall it's a great class to take if it is your first AP class. Now, coming in at that number 4 spot, it's going to go to AP Psychology, or AP Psych. Now, the reason for this is, again, very similar to that HGAP that I was talking about, where it's primarily vocab based, and AP Psych is even more vocab based. Again, I remember the AP exam that I took for AP Psych was 110 MCQ questions, or 100, I believe, and I had 70 minutes. 70 minutes for that many questions, and I was freaked out going into that exam, but every single question nearly was just, what does this word mean? What does this condition mean? What does this term mean? Etc, etc. And so it's majorly vocab based. You really don't need to know how to apply it. And it's just a lot easier than other AP classes because of that. And also you have to keep in mind, again, this is one of those classes that are considered, pathways to other AP classes. It's kind of that intro kind of level class. And a lot of schools typically offer this class as a full year class. However, there's actually not that much content in this class. If you compare this to classes like Calculus BC that are covering Calculus 1 and Calculus 2, or Physics C covering Physics C mechanics and Physics C electricity and magnetism, this class covers way less. In fact, my school district actually just switched to covering this in a 1 semester content, and we didn't see many significant drops in scores because it's very easy to cover it in 1 semester. And so, especially if this class is offered for a full year and you're looking to boost your GPA, this is definitely a must. Now, coming in at that number 3 spot, this might be a little bit of a shocker to some of y'all, and especially if you guys have looked online and not seen this course on there, this might shock you as well if you're looking at easiest AP course lists online, and that's going to be AP Seminar. Now, just a quick disclaimer, the reason why this might not be as widely said online is that this is actually one of the newest AP courses available. I think it was released in like 2014 or something. A lot of the other AP courses have been out here for decades upon decades, so that's probably the reason why there wasn't that much information about this course, a couple years back, because it was originally piloted and then people started taking the courses, but it was still limited. Only a couple hundred schools had it. But now that we've kind of seen this course for 10 years, what I can say, especially from my experience taking AP Seminar and AP Research, is that this class is a very independent class. And so not only can your teacher not really give you that much feedback and hence not actually grade your assignments, because you're taking the AP test in May, and because 75% of that score-ish comes from the work you do in that class, so not only are you going to get a good grade, but it's a flexible class. Sometimes those deadlines you just have for 2 or 3 weeks in advance, and you don't really have those many mini checkpoints to cover, or you don't have a test next day or something like that. And so a lot of times, if you have a test next period, you can kind of just study for that and then catch up on seminar, in the evening or whatever it is. So it's a very independent focused class, so it has its own very big benefits. And the fact that your teacher can't really give you that much feedback on it really boosts a lot of people's GPAs in that class. Coming in hot at number 2, I'm gonna have to give this one to AP Environmental Science. Now, I know this class is honestly widely taken by pretty much anyone in high school. I know some schools offer it for freshmen, some schools offer it for sophomores, but a lot of juniors and seniors also take it. But overall, if you had to compare this, right, compare it easily to physics C, chemistry, biology, these are all very math heavy courses in STEM and science, and they tend to be a lot more difficult, especially in comparison to APES or environmental science. Environmental science is again very vocabulary and concept based. If you learn the content, you're pretty much good on the test. You don't really need to, do pages upon pages of practice worksheets like you would do in physics C to chemistry to really just get that knowledge in your brain. And this has just been a very notoriously easy class, and it's just kind of a no-brainer to be at that number 2 spot. Now, the number 1 easiest AP class that I'm going to recommend that underclassmen take is going to be AP Computer Science Principles, or CSP. So this class I took as a freshman, and I later also took Computer Science 1 at my school, which is an honors course, as well as AP Computer Science A. And I can honestly say that this course was not only kind of just an easy class, but it was also decently worth my time, sort of. Now, one thing I would like to note is that, the tech industry is booming. Even if you don't want to go into the tech industry, you gotta know some stuff about, how to just use the internet, how to use Google, things like all these type of things. And the thing with computer science principles is that it doesn't actually cover that much coding. A lot of schools do block coding, and it's actually up to the school what language they want to cover. So if they want to cover Python or Java, they can, but they can also just do block coding. My school did block coding, so we didn't really learn that much actually useful coding, but we learned a lot about just kind of the day-to-day uses of internet. We learned things like the blockchain, the digital divide, how are things actually sent over the internet through packets and things like that. And so there's just a lot of day-to-day knowledge that was super, super useful. And I think that everyone should have a chance to know. And I know for aspiring computer science majors, this is probably not the class for you just because it's too easy. You're not going to learn any much coding, and I know a lot of computer science majors didn't really like that class, but for the people that aren't trying to go in there, this is a great class content-wise. And as far as the grade, it's a pretty easy class. I mean, there's 5 big ideas that you cover in the class, and you spend some time doing your coding project called the create task. And I have no idea how to even describe it, that the content is just super, super easy. I mean, there's, first of all, not even that much content. It's short, and the content is super easy. I mean, the class is genuinely taught at like a 6th grade, 7th grade level, and you're just kind of memorizing, what happened, and it's very intuitive, A lot of us have been growing up using things like the internet, Google, things like that for so long that you already know pretty much a lot of the content in the class. And like I said, that create task, you can use whatever language you want for it, and that task tends to be pretty easy, and thus the grades tend to be high. And a lot of times this is an intro to computer science class, so a lot of underclassmen take it, so you're kind of in that same boat as. Alright, I appreciate y'all sticking around to the end of this video. I know these classes are meant to be easy, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get a free 100 or a free A in this class. You still got to put in the effort, and consequently I'm going to link down the videos about how to prepare for some of these AP classes that I've taken down in the description below so you can prepare. See you in the next one.